You know, some books, they just tell stories. And others, well, they hold secrets. But then there are a select few, a very rare kind, that are said to carry a curse. Their pages aren't just bound with ink and thread, but with something much, much darker. Today, we're diving headfirst into the world's most mysterious books. We're talking about texts so strange, so enigmatic, they've stumped the world's best historians, completely defied modern codebreakers, and have been fueling legends for centuries.
So let me ask you this. What really gives a book its power? Is it the knowledge it holds inside? The secrets it whispers to you when you're reading it alone? Or could it be something else? Something darker, a kind of malevolence that's woven right into its very fabric? Come with us as we explore that razor-thin line between knowledge and real danger.
The whole idea of a cursed object, that's as old as storytelling itself, right? But when that object is a book, the fear just feels more real, more potent. These aren't just campfire stories. They're cautionary tales, legends whispered down through the ages about a kind of darkness that can literally cling to the written word.
And that idea brings us to a manuscript so legendary, it's actually known as the Devil's Bible. We're talking about a book so massive, so unbelievably huge that its very creation is said to be the result of a desperate midnight pact made with the Prince of Darkness himself.
Okay, let's get right into this. We're going to start with what is probably the most famous cursed book of all time. It's a book of impossible size with a truly diabolical origin story. So the story goes like this. Back in the 13th century, there was a Benedictine monk named Herman. And Herman, well, he broke his sacred vows. His punishment was one of the most horrific things you can imagine: to be walled up alive, sealed in a brick tomb. In a last desperate plea for his life, he makes this outrageous promise. He tells them he will create a masterpiece, a book containing all human knowledge, and he'll do it in a single night. Of course, as the sun starts to set, he realizes it's an impossible task for any mortal man. And so, in his darkest hour, he summons the devil, and he makes a deal. Now, here's where the legend gets this chilling dose of reality. Modern analysis, scientists looking at this thing today, has revealed something truly incredible. The entire book, all 165 pounds of it, was written by a single person. The consistency of the handwriting from start to finish, the uniformity of the illustrations, it's a feat that should have taken an entire lifetime, yet it was all done with a precision that borders on, well, supernatural.
And the mystery just keeps getting deeper. At some point in the book's long, dark history, a section of about 10 or 12 pages was physically cut out of the manuscript. They didn't just fall out or get lost to time. Somebody took a knife and deliberately removed them. Something on those pages was so important, or maybe so dangerous, that someone felt they had to literally erase it from history.
So the question is, what could have been so damning that it needed to be ripped out of the Devil's Bible? Was it the text of the Devil's Pact itself? Maybe a curse too terrible to even read? Well, the truth, at least according to some scholars, might be even stranger. They think the missing pages contained this, the monastery's rule book, just the mundane day-to-day rules. And if that's true, its absence only makes the book's mystique that much more powerful. But the Codex Gigas isn't the only book that seems to leave a trail of tragedy wherever it goes. Take the Great Omar. This was an absolute masterpiece of bookbinding, covered in jewels that sank into the icy depths of the Atlantic with the Titanic. Just a few weeks later, its creator tragically drowned. So a second version was painstakingly recreated, only for that one to be completely destroyed in a fire during the London Blitz. It's such a string of bad luck, it's really hard to just chalk it up to coincidence, isn't it? But let's pause for a second. What if the real danger isn't supernatural at all? What if the most dangerous books out there aren't the ones that are cursed by some demon, but the ones that are just a lie? A brilliant, carefully constructed deception designed to manipulate our entire perception of reality. Let's move on and see how this works. We're shifting gears now from demonic pacts to man-made fabrications. We're about to explore a lie so audacious, so incredibly detailed, that it actually created a national hero completely out of thin air.
The scene is the Cold War. The space race is in full swing. It's a time of intense propaganda, state-sponsored secrets, and a whole lot of paranoia. The Soviet Union was absolutely notorious for its control over information. I mean, they would literally airbrush disgraced officials out of official photographs as if they never existed. This culture of secrecy was the perfect breeding ground for conspiracy theories, especially ones about lost cosmonauts, unlucky souls who were supposedly shot into space, had their missions fail, and then had their very existence denied by the state.
And this is where the deception gets brilliant. In the 1990s, a project called Sputnik suddenly appears, claiming it's going to reveal the true story of one of these lost heroes, a Colonel Ivan Istochnikov. The story claimed that Istochnikov had secretly orbited the Earth even before Yuri Gagarin. But then, on his next mission, Soyuz 2, his capsule malfunctioned. He vanished, completely erased from the history books, and the Soviets just claimed the flight was unmanned all along.
Now, this wasn't just some story somebody made up. It was meticulously crafted museum exhibit, full of doctored photographs, forged mission logs, and even fabricated audio recordings of the cosmonauts' supposed final moments. It was a story so compelling, so incredibly real, that pretty much the entire world was taken in by it.
And the world was absolutely captivated. I mean, journalists were reporting on it as fact. Museums were displaying these artifacts. The tragic story of Ivan Istochnikov, the forgotten martyr of the space race, became a modern legend. But who was he, really?
And here's the shocking truth. Ivan Istochnikov never existed, not for a second. He was a complete creation of a Spanish artist named Joan Fontcuberta. The whole thing was a masterful hoax, designed to expose just how willing we are to believe a good story. And the face of that heroic cosmonaut in all the pictures, it was Fontcuberta himself. A brilliant and, frankly, unsettling reminder that seeing is not always believing. So, okay, we've looked at supernatural curses and we've looked at man-made deception. But what happens when you encounter a mystery that isn't either of those things? A book that isn't cursed and it isn't a fake. It's just impossible. A text that feels like it has come from another reality entirely. We've seen curses, we've seen hoaxes, but now we're going into the true heart of the mystery. We're talking about books that have resisted every single attempt at comprehension, written in languages that might not even be languages, describing worlds that have never, ever existed.
Meet the Voynich manuscript. It's a 15th century enigma that has completely baffled scholars for hundreds of years. Its pages are just filled with these beautiful illustrations of outer-worldly plants that don't exist on Earth, celestial charts of unknown constellations, and a flowing script that has zero resemblance to any known language, ancient or modern. It honestly feels like a book that fell through a crack in reality.
For more than a century, the world's most brilliant minds have thrown themselves at the Voynich manuscript. We're talking about the very same codebreakers who cracked Nazi ciphers during World War II, linguists who have deciphered lost ancient languages, even the most advanced artificial intelligence. And every single one of them has been utterly defeated by its secrets. It's like a lock for which there may be no key. Now let's fast forward to the 1970s, and we find what you could call the spiritual successor to the Voynich manuscript, the Codex Seraphinianus. This thing is a whimsical, surreal, and bizarre encyclopedia of a completely imaginary world. It's filled with fantastical creatures, impossible machines, and a language that is as beautiful as it is completely nonsensical.
But here's the difference. Unlike the Voynich, with this book, we actually know the author's intent. The artist, Luigi Serafini, said he wanted to recreate for adults the exact feeling a small child has when they look at a book they can't read yet. The logic, the wonder, the entire story, it all has to come from the images alone, not the text. It's a book that forces you to just abandon the hunt for answers and simply experience the mystery.
You know, from demonic curses to elaborate hoaxes to books that seem like they're from another dimension, all of these artifacts, they tap into the same fundamental human desire. It's a desire not just for knowledge, but for the thrill of the unknown.
We live in an age of instant information, right? Every question seems to have an answer just a click away. And in a world like that, these mysterious books are such a powerful reminder that some secrets are meant to be kept. They're a testament to the enduring power of the unknown, and really a celebration of the questions that might not have any answers. Because in the end, maybe it's not the knowledge we possess, but the mysteries we pursue that truly define who we are.